You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Overwatch fans, happy Monday. This is Overwatch Contenders Daily, and I'm your host, LemonKiwi. A topic I like to think about is the difference between Academy teams and non-Academy teams. And for those at home that don't know what Academy means, it's a sister team or an affiliated brand to an Overwatch League franchise. So you got like the Dallas Fuel and Team Envy, you got Toronto Esports and the Boston Uprising, and etc. like that. And a particular case study you can look at this at is the Envision and Team Envious situation, where Envision exited Overwatch, who was a non-Academy team, and then you have Team Envious, an Academy team of Dallas Fuel, came in and acquired the roster. So I brought on special guest Caleb McGravy to tell me about that particular transition from non-Academy to Academy. What are the differences and the struggles, and how did he feel overall leaving Envision? This was a guy that's been on Envision since Contender Season 0. That's like over about 2 years that he's been under that banner. So overall, how does he feel about leaving Envision, the differences between non-Academy and Academy, and the addition of Talespin? This was a big name to Team Envious and the overall Overwatch community. So how's he doing after not playing the game for a year or so? And now that they're locked in for playoffs, well, who's going to be their biggest competition coming up? But before we get into my interview with Caleb, let's go over some quick Contenders news. So first, in North America, DPS player Sid, who what used to be on GOATS and Trials, has joined last night's Leftovers. So LNL are in 3rd seed in Group A, but have one final match against Mayhem Academy to anchor them in playoffs. So this was a pretty solid pickup. Secondly, in North American news, Toronto Esports coach Vivid has left the team and is seeking new opportunities. And it's a bit of an awkward change. It's a bit of mid-season, almost end season. Toronto Esports are trying to go into playoffs, or will be going into playoffs. So the Toronto Esports manager has said that he will be assisting in the coaching until they find a replacement. Third, in North American news, Milky Man, main tank for Mayhem Academy, has left the team due to his contract ending and is seeking a new home. So adopt your new main tank today. In European news, Snake's Offtank player Heiko has left the team. So Snakes are fighting for the 4th spot in playoffs in Group A, and they only have one match left against Young and Beautiful. So this is really not a fun time for anyone to be going through roster changes. In Australian news, an organization by the name of Order have acquired the Blank Blue roster for the remainder of the Contender season. And Blank Blue is a really big name in the Australian scene, and they've already locked in the 3rd seed in Group A playoffs. So congratulations to those players for finding a new home. That's it for the news. Now let's get into my interview with Caleb McGravy about leaving Envision and now joining Team Envious. And I'm joined here with Caleb McGravy, or you know him as the Offtank for Team Envy. They're 2nd seed in Group B with a 3-1 win-loss. But these guys were the former Envision players, and I mean, you must be so happy to now be on an Academy team. So thank you so much for joining me, Caleb. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing really well. Glad to be on.
So, I mean, you in particular have been on Envision since like Season 0 of Contenders for like almost 2 years. So how difficult was this for you when Envision decided to exit Overwatch?
It was definitely a bittersweet moment, because obviously Envy is a really prestigious org and probably the biggest org that's ever touched Overwatch. But it was definitely bittersweet because I've been with Envision for, you said, 2 years. I joined January of 2017, so I've been with this team and this org for almost my whole career. So having to depart was definitely, it stunk, but I also knew that while it was happening, we were going to move on to bigger and better things. So it definitely ended up on the better side of things at the end. So it feels pretty good to be under Envy. Yeah.
So you had a pretty good feelings, like someone was going to acquire your roster, or the spot was going to go to somebody, and luckily it went from non-Academy to Academy, the very thing you guys were looking for. And so Team Envy came and acquired your roster, like I said, so you're part of the Dallas Fuel in some kind of way, which is really exciting, coming from a non-Academy side of things, and how I guess you guys were struggling with whatever issues back then. So looking a lot brighter in your future. So I just really want to look at this case study. Could you tell me the differences between being on a non-academy team versus now an academy team?
Obviously, there's a lot more like infrastructure. I have more people I have to answer to now, a lot more managers, just tons more stuff I have to go through. But it definitely makes a big difference. Like I said, more infrastructure equals, better practice. Obviously, more resources. Obviously, like I know. Obviously, like I get like talk to Arrow and stuff. Obviously, there's like tons of just coaching staff I get to access, and it definitely makes a big difference because we were under Envision. We were the only non-academy team that would make playoffs. So obviously, like when the roster was going to get dropped from Envision, we were a big name, and obviously I reached out to to Dallas, and there was mutual interest. So it definitely feels nice. Like I said, Envy is one of those big and prestigious orgs that has been in Overwatch for a long time. So it's definitely an honor to be playing under their name, and hopefully we're doing them proud.
It was just so exciting to see Team Envy come back to Overwatch in general, and it seemed like the perfect moment. Like, you guys are looking for an org, they're looking for a kick-ass team, and then you guys came together, and it looks like you guys are working well together. I know it's sort of a big change for you guys to go from maybe less infrastructure to now this whole staff of people kind of hovering over you, right?
It's definitely a big change. Definitely there's more expectations, I guess, I would say. Because, I mean, Team Envy has been a team that has won almost the whole entire time that they've been under Overwatch, and every time we lose, it's kind of scrutinized because we're under such a big name, and it was such a big move, and there's so much publicity, but it's definitely added pressure that I think we all appreciate, and we're definitely working harder to, be a better team and make the fans proud.
It must be a lot of pressure. You kind of look at all the former players from Team Envy. You got like Mickey, Harry Hook, and all these like Overwatch League superstars. And maybe that'll sort of put you guys on the right track. And I mean, I've talked to a few people about how awesome it is to be on an academy team in terms of resources for coaching, better pay and things like that. But also that maybe this puts you in a better position to be in an Overwatch League spot one day.
Yeah, it definitely puts a spotlight on us. Like I said, with the added pressure also comes like the added benefits of if we play well, there's more people watching and there's more eyes. There is more chance I get noticed by more people. And as a team, everybody gets more opportunities to prove themselves, and get that Overwatch League opportunity, which everybody's working towards. And that's something we really do appreciate because, like I said, the Envy name brings a lot of attention to us. With more pressure also comes more benefits. And then it's definitely something that I appreciate because obviously under Envision, we were known, but it wasn't a big name and there wasn't a lot of fans. So this is definitely something that's going to help us in coming into the Overwatch League, hopefully.
Yeah, you guys get the sort of inherited the fan base of Team Envy, which I know is like big in other esports, and Overwatch, it's now coming back now that they're back into the game. But you were telling me, so you do get to talk to Arrow, like Dallas Fuel's coach. Do you guys get other resources, like their analysts, their coaches, anything else?
Obviously, since it's the off season, and not to shit talk Dallas Fuel, but they had kind of a rough season and it was long, so obviously they're on break right now, but the resources that we do get are when they do feel like doing it. So we've gotten to talk to Jane a little bit, one of the new assistant coaches. Yeah, so Jane's been stopping in every once in a while, and we also get Arrow. So we get some help every now and then, but it's nothing huge. It's mostly our coach Chu that does all of the work for us.
Yeah, that was really cool to see that Dallas Fuel, I guess like 10 days after your roster announced, they picked up your former Envision coaches. So that's probably like feels more like home to have your former coaches. And it was nice that Envy took the whole roster and they added Talespin in there. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah. So they brought on your old coaches, and you get to use Jane and Arrow, who were former, at least have worked in Contenders. So it's nice that you have some Contenders talent in there. But now let's get on to the Talespin topic. So with Team Envy picking you guys up, they added Talespin. Like, this was a big name, came out of retirement. It's a very big name, very loved by the community. So how is he integrating in Overwatch now? He hasn't played in a while, and now it's a completely new meta than what he's known. So how has he been on the team?
I mean, he's been great for someone who hasn't been in the competitive scene for, it was a year and a half, something like that. It's definitely amazing how fast he's picked it up. Obviously, he's still learning because it was such a long time where he wasn't in. But even when we tried him out, everyone had our doubts, but he silenced those doubts pretty quickly because he still has the mechanical prowess to be a top DPS, and he's 30 years old. So
I didn't know he's that old. Oh my
yeah,
God.
Tail's old. I call him Grandpa Tail every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely proven everyone wrong, even ourselves. Like, obviously, it's a new meta. There's new heroes. He's got to learn Brigida. He has to relearn how to play Pharah. Yeah, there's a lot of heroes he has to play in this meta. So on top of relearning how to play the game, basically, he has to also learn new heroes. So it's a tall task for him, but he stepped up to the plate.
And it's kind of a nice change, and also bringing back that fan base of Talespin back into the day. So now you guys get an old Team Envy member there, and you won't get to bring like Mickey and Harry Hook and everybody else back, but at least you get one former Team Envy, and that makes you guys, not only him, but overall your efforts as a team have brought you back into playoffs. You guys were in playoffs last season, so but it was announced that playoffs are now being played on patch 1.26 with Hammond. So how impactful is Hammond in high elo play? Because I play a lot of quick play, and it's just a lot of people spinning around. So do you think Hammond's going to have a big impact in the meta?
I wish I had an idea, because I haven't even got to touch the hero yet, because I've been so focused on playoffs. But Hammond looked interesting. There's definitely going to be unique situations. In my opinion, I think he's gonna be super niche. I don't think it's gonna be something where you can run him all the time. But I do think there'll be maps where he's gonna be really good, and I definitely think he's gonna see play in playoffs. But I'm not sure how much, because teams are just gonna be so unfamiliar with him, because nobody has any practice with him, obviously, in competitive play.
Yeah, his mechanics are a little tough, just how you orient yourself. He has pretty good damage, and he almost seems like more of a payload staller than... Because he has some dive capabilities. He has pretty good mobility and things like that, but with dive kind of taking a back seat to the Brigida tank comps, who knows where Hammond will be. So is there someone on your team that's going to be playing Hammond, or you guys are not worried about this at all?
Obviously not worried at the time, but if I had to guess, Hammond seems like it would slot into like a tank role. We're not sure if it's main tank. We're not sure if it's off tank. We're not sure if it's DPS. But I'd guess if I would be the one that would have to play it. So that's something I'm gonna have to like maybe look forward to, and maybe slots a DPS role, which I would be like flex DPS. So maybe Tail would learn how to play Hammond, which is even tougher. But he's one to step up to the task. So.
Yeah, I've been so curious to see where Hammond's going to fit into the meta, or if it's going to be kind of like Doomfist, where he's brought out like occasionally to throw like a wrench in some gears. Who knows, but I just know it's very annoying to play against right now, and I'm super excited to see how people are going to adapt to it in the playoffs coming up, which doesn't seem like a lot of time to practice it, but it'll make playoffs extra spicy. But going into playoffs, now the question is for you guys, who's going to be your biggest competition?
I think I'd be silly to not answer the same way that I did last year. This would be, Fusion Uni. I mean, they're like undefeated. They like haven't lost, so it's hard to say that they're not the best team. And in my opinion, they've got an upgrade in Bernard, like over Kraken Lacken. He's a really good player. Like someone I respected even before he joined the team, and I knew who he was, and I knew when he had to sub in for Kraken that one match, something bad was going to happen for us, because he was eventually going to end on that team somehow. But it's definitely Fusion Uni. Zach's one of the best DPS in North America right now. He's super flexible. He's got a really good Widow. Who Are You is Who Are You? They have Alarm. Just everybody on that team is super solid in their role, and they're really flexible. So they're always going to be a threat, no matter what the meta, no matter who they're facing. And they're always fun to play against. It's always close. So definitely Fusion Uni.
So you guys are not worried about like Toronto Esports? I know like they were second place last season. They were the ones that knocked you out of playoffs, and doesn't seem like a rivalry you guys care about this season.
No, we respect Toronto for sure. I know we play them next week. It's definitely a match we're going to prep for heavily. It's just they just, in my opinion, they haven't been as strong as they were last season, and I'm not sure if it's the replacement of Guardian for Kraken, something they're trying to fix that. Something's not gelling. They haven't been playing Facility as much. It just seems like things are kind of in disarray there. Obviously, we still respect them as opponents. They have mechanically really strong players. They have two up-and-coming DPS players in Nero and Dalton. They're both really good at their heroes, and they make a good duo. And so losing to them last season obviously sucked, and they're really strong. It's just Fusion Uni is something else.
Yeah, I can't believe they're still undefeated. Like, the meta kind of screws with all kinds of teams. Like, even Overwatch League, there's some teams that can adapt to things and learn quickly, and there's some that takes a little bit more time and they grow a little slower. And Fusion Uni has proved that they can play goats, they can play Brigida, they can play snipers, they can play everything. And I'm so excited now that you guys have like a ton of more resources. You can kind of relax more now that you have a lot more support on all ends. Even your parents, you were saying, me, are kind of like supporting you now, even though it's sort of Overwatch is sort of a question for everybody's parents of what this actually is. But you're getting support from all ends, and I'm really excited to see how you guys will do in playoffs this year. Yeah,
we're looking good. We're definitely on the up and up. We were having like kind of a rough patch here in the middle of the season. Obviously, we're dropping the maps to bye week, which we're not really happy with. So we've been putting in a lot of extra work, extra hours to make sure that, you know, we look good, and we looked really good against NRG yesterday. We're really proud of that win. So we took an extra day off to watch the OWL finals. So, you know, we're excited. We're looking good, and we're feeling good. So playoffs should be exciting.
And you guys got, I guess your final match is against Toronto Esports. So you guys are feeling pretty confident. I mean, you're locked in for playoffs, so this is maybe more of a seeding situation. Well, you guys are already in second, so more of a seeding situation, at least for Toronto. But are you feeling good for that match too?
Oh, absolutely. Like, obviously, we're going to take every match seriously. Every match where we can prove ourselves as players is something we're going to use. But yeah, we're obviously going to prep for Toronto. Like I said, they've got really strong players. So we're going to put in the work, same as we did for NRG and everybody else, and try and get a W.
Well, I'm just proud of you guys to stay strong through these sort of org issues that you had. And now you're back on your feet with Team Envy, the big Team Envy flag behind you. And I'm so excited to see how you guys will do in playoffs. But thank you so much, Caleb, for joining me for this interview.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really fun to do this kind of stuff. And thanks a lot.
No problem. We'll have you again soon with more exciting things that Team Envy will go through. And good luck to Talespin. I can't believe he's back in Overwatch. So many big news coming in for Team Envy, and good luck in playoffs. But this was Overwatch Contenders Daily. I'm LemonKiwi, and we're going to see you guys on Wednesday.
You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.